Good morning, everybody. It is Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong.
I wanted to share this journal that is going out in the mail this morning. I will be sharing just a series of journals that are gift journals and custom orders, and I love to document these just to show you an example of the kinds of things that I make. This one is similar to a big blue. It's not as big as some of the big blues. It is not as big as some of the big blues, but it's a little bit bigger than the baby blues. So this is like a teenage blue. Anyway, you can see the stamp on the front. It is a piece of fabric, and I've stamped the word blue in blue ink. This one has some beautiful charms, 3 really pretty glass beads, and then again, I have just used a rusty safety pin, so please be careful with that, and attached this pretty little bottle that's got some dried moss in it. There is a tie that runs around. This is a velvet ribbon. I love velvet ribbon. It's one of my favorite things to use. And I'm just going to move through this fairly quickly. In the front, we have this printed image of a beautiful old dress from the 1800s. There's a pretty card that I need to write something in, but I love the sun and the moon there and the blue color. There's just a pretty little piece of fabric that is safety pinned on the front pocket. I did put lace across the pocket. This journal has a lot of space for writing. The pages are somewhat distressed. There's some sort of distressed ink stamping throughout the journal. I did another one of the little drawings with the circle around the eye. Again, I've seen this in Stampington magazines before, and I know recently Tiffany from Southern Gals Designs, she's got some amazing art. I know that she has had some work like this published, I think. I love this idea though. It's almost like a monocle or an eyeglass, and then I wrote the word love inside. And there's a charm here on a paper clip. I love that little square paper clip. There is some stamping throughout. This was a page from a magazine. I love that. I thought that might be some inspiration as far as some simple drawings. And again, just more space to write on. There's a card that I printed, a really pretty blue butterfly. You can write on the back of that. And I did some stamping and just used some watercolor paints to fill some of these in. This is a beautiful large piece of paper, and I cut that down to make a page, and you can see the masking tape reinforcing that. Again, more stamping. And I love this charm. I do not remember where I got this. This is like I would call it a found item, because I don't remember where I got this, and I was going through my charms and there it was. It's got sort of a cloisonne look, but I just love that. It's kind of delicate, so I just put that on a paper clip, and it's on the edge of the page there. And here is a tiny little booklet of just paper. These were offcuts from some journal pages, and I stapled that together and put it here under a paper clip for you. And this is from a sort of an oldish book, I think maybe from the 80s or something, but it talks about ships and the Titanic and things like that. That is a copy of a painting I did probably 20 years ago, maybe not quite so long, maybe 15 years ago, and I just scanned it, and I print out journal cards from time to time. That's a beautiful piece of wallpaper. Here's a tiny little piece of fabric folded over this page, and it's just the dark blue with the stars. I love that. And there's a beautiful little page from that large calendar that I was cutting from. I love the blue on the edge of the pot. And this is a printed copy of a collage I did 1 month for Mike Deacon's art channel. It's Deakin. I love his channel. And he does the, what does he call it? Mission Inspiration, I think. And I used his prompts to make a collage. This is a beautiful little page from a book I recently bought. I'll try to share the whole book soon. It's just beautiful. I hated to cut it up, but that's what I bought it for. And I love the blue in that. There's more stamping. And you can see where I taped these 2 book pages together to be able to have them in here upright. I love doing things like this. You have the masking tape across there. You could even write yourself a little message across there on the masking tape. More stamping. And here are a couple of vintage cards. These are showing the constellations. This is the night sky in June, the night sky in May, and here we have August and July. And of course they are just for inspiration and because they're blue. This is just a pretty bird image that I printed out. And here is a tiny little file folder. When you pull that down, it's got love written on the inside with the flower stamped on the front. So we can put that back under the paper clip. And another bird stamp. That is one of my favorites. It is so easy to stamp that and then just fill it in with some watercolor. And here's a little tag. This tag was punched from one of my favorite sets of Christmas cards I had a couple of years or so ago. I love that little fox. So I turned that, punched it out of the Christmas card and made a tag. And then there's another bead charm. And just working on through. There's another page from that very unusual book. I'll have to share that with you definitely. And there's the other half of that. More pages to write on or do artwork on. And then of course she's got the big blue bow tied around her dress. That's the other half of that calendar page. I did put in a piece of paper where I had been cleaning off stamps and stuff for this journal. So that's just a scrap piece of paper. And it's funny, I was testing a pen. I said, is this a good day? So that could be a journal prompt. I went ahead and put that in the journal. There's a really pretty card that says love. It's blank on the inside if you want to write in that. And of course this journal is inspired by blue, so there's quite a bit of blue in there. And then there's the other part of the pages from the book about ships, and it shows someone getting ready for dinner on deck or whatever. And there's more pictures from that. And just some space to write on. Here's a piece of vellum. I've got stamped there, Let Friendship Bloom. And here's an old, like a dress tag or an inventory tag that's been tea stained. And the other part of that beautiful floral paper. And I love this paper as well. That reminds me of some old wallpaper or something. That's scrapbook paper though. This page, that's the other half of the little line drawing from the earlier part. Where is it? Right here. Looks like maybe a watercolor or something. There's the other half of that. You can see her hair and the flower in her hair. On the back of it was some stuff that I just didn't want visible in the journal. It was nothing bad, I just didn't want that in here. So I took some paper tape and taped over that page and then distressed the paper tape. This is just a piece of fabric, again with stars, and I put that in there for inspiration or whatever you want to do with that. More stamping, more space to write. And this is the paper that I used to stain with some color from the iris plants after we had had a huge rainstorm. At this point, that was probably 8 or 9 months ago, because here we are approaching, mid-January. So that's what that is from. This is another card I had on my desk testing stamps and inks and pens when I was making this journal. So I tucked this in as well. And then here is a beautiful, that's cut from a large piece of boho style fabric, and you can see the beads on that and the flower. So that is safety pinned into place. And then on the back is my stamp birdsong. So this one is going out today. I definitely wanted to share this. Thank you so much for being here and for watching. Stay tuned. I have a couple of videos coming up about altered couture, as they say, and more journals to share.
Thank you so much for being here and watching. I truly appreciate it. I will be back soon with some more videos. Bye for now.